The spaceport was alive with sound and color. Thousands of voices filled the air. Traders shouted about rare goods, ship engines roared, and bright signs glowed in many languages. It was easy to get lost in the noise, easy to disappear in the crowd. That was why nobody noticed the little alien girl. She was small, her skin pale blue, with faint light shining from her eyes. She walked quickly, her head low, her steps nervous. Behind her moved two tall figures, silent and close. Their long black coats brushed the ground, and their faces stayed hidden under shadowed hoods. To the busy crowd, they looked like guardians walking with a child. To everyone else, nothing was wrong. But Jack saw it. Jack was a human, a mechanic who had come to the station to repair a freighter engine. He stood near a food stall, eating something hot and spicy, when his eyes caught the strange scene. Girl's hand trembled. She looked around, desperate, but when her eyes met his for a second, Jack felt it. Fear. It was not just fear of being lost. It was the silent cry of someone in danger. Jack froze. Around him, nobody cared. A group of insect-like merchants clicked their mandibles while bargaining. Two armored guards walked past, not even turning their heads. The whole station was blind. But not him. Jack put down his food and slowly followed. He told himself maybe he was wrong, maybe the girl was safe, maybe those cloaked figures were her parents, but something inside screamed otherwise. The figures moved quickly through the crowd, guiding the girl toward a darker corridor at the edge of the port. The further they went, the thinner the crowd became. The bright lights of shops faded, replaced by broken lamps and leaking pipes. Jack's heartbeat grew faster. He knew this part of the station, the underbelly, a place where rules were forgotten, where ships disappeared and people never returned. He kept a safe distance, his boots silent on the metal floor. The girl glanced back once more. Her glowing eyes met his. This time she raised her hand, just slightly, like a signal. Her fingers twitched as if begging, "Help me." Jack's breath caught in his chest. It was real. The cloaked figures pushed her into the shadows of a sealed corridor. A security drone floated past, red lights scanning the area, but it did not react. The girl's eyes were wide with fear, yet the machine ignored it completely, like it could not even see her distress. Jack's stomach turned cold. Something unnatural was happening. He quickened his steps, careful not to be noticed. The sound of dripping water echoed through the pipes above. The air smelled of oil and rust. He reached the corner and peered carefully around it. The kidnappers were speaking in a low, harsh language. Their voices scraped the air like metal on stone. The girl stood between them, her head down, her small hands clenched. One of the figures pulled a device from his coat. It flashed with strange symbols. The girl flinched, shaking her head. Jack pressed himself against the wall, heart pounding. His mind raced. Should he call security? Should he run for help? But he already knew. No one else had noticed. No one else would listen. It was only him. The taller, cloaked figure turned his head slightly as if sensing something. Jack pulled back quickly, holding his breath. A long silence followed. Then footsteps. Not theirs. Someone else. Behind Jack, deeper in the corridor, another sound echoed. Soft, steady, following him. Jack's skin prickled. He looked back into the dim light. Shadows stretched across the walls, but he saw nothing. Still, the footsteps were there. He was sure. In front of him, the girl's faint glow flickered like a warning. She raised her head slowly, and her eyes locked on his hiding place. For a moment, she did not look afraid of him. She looked as if she already knew he was there. Jack's heart skipped. Something was very wrong. And then, the corridor lights flickered and went out. Darkness swallowed everything. Darkness swallowed the corridor. For a moment, Jack could hear only his own breathing. The station that had been alive with voices and lights now felt like a tomb. Then, faint movement. A soft glow shimmered in the black. The little alien girl's eyes. They were the only light, and they were staring straight at him. Jack froze. Did she know him? How could she see him so clearly? Before he could move, one of the cloaked figures pulled a device from his coat. With a sharp click, the corridor lights buzzed back on. The girl lowered her head quickly, hiding the glow of her eyes. Jack pressed himself tighter against the wall, heart hammering. He hoped they hadn't noticed him, but deep inside he felt it. He wasn't just watching them. Someone was watching him. The cloaked figures spoke again in their rough, scraping language. Jack couldn't understand the words, but the tone was clear. Orders. The taller one pushed the girl forward. The shorter one tapped a code into a door panel. The door slid open with a hiss. The girl disappeared inside. The two figures followed, their long coats trailing behind. The door closed. Silence. Jack let out the breath he'd been holding. He stepped forward, trying to remember the door's exact position. Maybe he could force it open, or maybe find another way inside. But before he could move closer, footsteps again, behind him. Not rushing, not heavy, calm, patient. The sound of someone who wanted to be heard. Jack spun around. The corridor was empty. A single lamp flickered above, throwing long shadows across the walls. Nothing moved. He swallowed hard. "Who's there?" he whispered. No answer. Only the faint echo of his own voice. He stepped back, closer to the sealed door. The silence pressed in on him. He felt trapped between the kidnappers ahead and the unseen presence behind. Then, a sound. Soft. Mechanical. From the corner of his eye, he caught movement. A tiny orb hovered at the end of the hall, no bigger than his fist. Its red lens pulsed like an eye. A watcher drone. Jack had seen plenty before, but this one felt different. Its gaze seemed fixed only on him, ignoring the sealed door where the girl had been taken. Slowly, the orb drifted closer. Jack's instinct screamed run. He turned and hurried down the hall, boots hitting metal with sharp echoes. He tried to look casual, like just another worker, but the drone followed, humming softly. The crowd was gone. No merchants, no guards, just endless pipes, steam hissing through vents, and the faint buzz of broken wires. The deeper he went, the lonelier it felt, like the whole station had forgotten this place. Jack slowed near a corner, pressing himself against the wall. He peered carefully around it. There, up ahead, the two cloaked figures again. Somehow they had circled around. The girl was still between them, head low, steps forced. Jack's pulse raced. How? He had just seen them go through the door. Were there hidden passages? Or had they never really gone inside? The girl looked back once more. This time her eyes stayed on him longer. Not pleading, not afraid, almost warning. Jack ducked quickly, hiding before the kidnappers turned. His hands shook. He didn't understand any of this. The girl was being taken, yes, but why could only he see it? Why was the station blind? The watcher drone drifted silently above him, its red lens glowing brighter. Jack clenched his jaw. He had two choices: walk away and pretend he saw nothing, or follow them deeper into danger he could not name. He knew the answer already. Taking a deep breath, Jack stepped out of hiding. The cloaked figures had vanished again, but the echo of their boots lingered in the metal halls. The girl's faint glow shimmered once more in the distance like a small light in endless dark. Jack followed. And from behind, the watcher drone followed too. The corridor narrowed as Jack followed the fading echoes. Pipes twisted overhead like ribs of some giant beast. Steam hissed from broken vents, covering the air with a damp mist. His shirt clung to his back with sweat, but he kept moving. Ahead, the girl's faint glow blinked in and out, like a dying star. Each time Jack thought he lost her, the light would appear again, just enough to pull him forward. And always, behind him, the hum of the watcher drone. Jack tried to ignore it, but he couldn't shake the thought. Why me? Why only me? The kidnappers moved into a larger chamber. Jack stopped at the edge of the entrance, pressing himself against the wall. He peeked inside. It was an old cargo bay, long abandoned. Rust covered the walls. The air smelled of oil and mold. Empty crates lay broken. In the corners. In the center stood the two cloaked figures with the girl. One of them raised a small black cube. Symbols lit up across its surface, shifting like liquid fire. The cube pulsed once, and the heavy doors around the bay slammed shut. Metal locks clanged into place. Jack's stomach dropped. Lockdown. He had just walked into a trap. The taller figure spoke in that harsh, grinding language again. This time, Jack caught a single word. Clear, repeated like a name. He didn't know how, but he understood it wasn't the girl's name. It was hers. And something else. A title. The key. The girl shivered. Her eyes glowed brighter for a moment, before dimming again. She hugged herself tightly, as if trying to hold her fear inside. Jack's fists clenched. He wanted to rush in, grab her, and run. But his brain screamed that it would be suicide. Those cloaked figures weren't just kidnappers. They were something far worse. The Watcher drone drifted into the chamber, red lens glowing like a warning light. Neither of the kidnappers reacted. They ignored it completely. Jack's eyes narrowed. Was the drone following him? Or her? The shorter cloaked figure tapped the cube again. Strange lines of light spread across the walls, forming a cage of energy. The room shimmered as if reality itself was bending. Jack pressed back against the wall, struggling to breathe. His skin prickled like ants crawling across it. Something unnatural filled the air, heavy and suffocating. The girl lifted her head suddenly. Her eyes locked on him. Jack's heart jumped. He pulled back instantly, but it was too late. She had seen him, and worse, so had they. The taller figure turned slowly, hood shifting to reveal part of its face. Pale skin stretched tight across sharp bones. Its eyes were like dark holes, endless and empty. Jack froze. He felt those eyes pierce straight through him. For a moment he couldn't move, couldn't even think. Then the figure spoke again. The words scraped the air, and though Jack didn't understand the language, the meaning slashed into his mind like a knife. The human sees. Jack's breath caught. He stumbled back, heart pounding. How did he understand that? Why could he hear words that weren't in his language? The cube pulsed again. This time the air shimmered brighter, the energy cage locking tighter. The girl cried out, a sound so sharp and pure it cut through Jack's chest. He couldn't stay hidden anymore. Jack stepped forward, voice shaking. "Let her go!" The sound echoed through the chamber, bouncing off the metal walls. The cloaked figures turned fully toward him, silent, watching. The girl's eyes widened, glowing brighter now, not in fear but in hope. The silence stretched, then the doors behind Jack slammed shut. Metal bolts locked into place. The chamber was sealed. Jack spun around, panic rising. He was trapped with them. The Watcher drone drifted closer, its red lens focusing squarely on his chest. The taller cloaked figure raised a hand. The black cube pulsed. The energy around the room crackled, humming like a storm ready to break. And Jack understood one thing, clear as fire in his mind. This was no kidnapping. This was a ritual, and he had just stepped into the center of it. The secret power. The chamber vibrated with a low hum. Lines of light crawled across the walls, sealing the space in a cage of shifting energy. Jack's skin tingled as if static filled the air. His throat was dry, but he forced himself to stand. Firm, the two cloaked figures moved slowly toward him. Their steps were deliberate, echoing across the cargo bay. Between them, the little alien girl stood still, her faint glow flickering. Her eyes darted between Jack and the cube in the taller figure's hand. Jack's fists clenched. "I said, let her go." The figures ignored his words. The taller one raised the black cube, and a ripple of force shot across the room. Jack stumbled back, hitting the wall. The air pressed against his chest like an invisible hand. He gasped, fighting to breathe. The Watcher drone hovered closer, its red lens bright as blood. Jack swung at it in desperation. His fist hit metal, sparks flying. The drone wobbled, then steadied, as if mocking him. The shorter, cloaked figure hissed in its grinding voice. Words Jack couldn't understand, yet somehow in his mind he felt their meaning. The human interferes. End him. Jack's pulse thundered. His body screamed to run, but there was nowhere to go. The doors were locked. The cage was sealed. Then, a sound cut through the chaos. The girl's voice, soft, trembling, in broken English. "Don't move." Jack froze. Her eyes glowed brighter, burning white for an instant. The pressure on his chest lifted. The energy ripples in the air bent away from him as if her light was shielding him. The cloaked figures turned sharply toward her, their hoods tilted, their movements sharper now, angry. The girl's small body shook. She whispered again, barely audible. "They want my mind. My gift." Jack stared, stunned. "Your gift?" She nodded quickly, eyes still glowing. "I can see what is coming. I can bend it." Her breath shook as if each word cost her strength. "Only you see." "Because I let you." Jack's mind reeled. She can change the future? That was why he had noticed her in the crowd. She had reached him, connected to him. The taller cloaked figure growled, a sound like stone cracking. It raised the cube higher, and jagged bolts of light shot toward her. Jack didn't think. He moved. He dove forward, grabbing the girl and pulling her close. The bolt struck the floor where she had been standing, scorching deep burns into the metal. The girl gasped, her glow flaring. Jack felt heat rush through his arms, not burning but alive, like her energy was flowing into him. His muscles felt lighter, faster. The shorter figure lunged. Jack swung blindly, his fist colliding with the figure's chest. To his shock, the strike actually sent it stumbling back. "What?" Jack muttered, staring at his own hand. He wasn't stronger. It was her. The girl's whisper brushed his ear. "I give you a piece of time. For moments only." Jack turned to her, but before he could ask what she meant, the taller figure unleashed another wave of energy. This time, Jack saw it before it came. A flicker in his mind, like a glimpse of the next second. He pulled the girl aside just in time. The blast slammed into the wall, shaking the chamber. He panted, adrenaline burning in his veins. You're showing me the future." Her small hand gripped his tightly. Not much, just enough. The cloaked figures regrouped, moving in perfect sync. Their empty eyes glowed faintly, fixed on him now. The cube pulsed, and the walls of energy grew tighter. Jack's stomach twisted. He couldn't fight forever. He had seconds, maybe minutes before the cage crushed them both. The girl's glow dimmed, her strength draining. She looked up at him, her voice barely more than a breath. "If they take me, all worlds will suffer." Jack swallowed hard. He didn't understand the full meaning, but he didn't need to. He knew one thing. He couldn't let them have her. The taller figure stepped forward, raising the cube for a final strike. Jack's chest heaved, his pulse raced. He could see the attack before it even began. He moved, and for the first time, the hunters looked surprised. The hunters advanced, their hoods swaying like shadows come alive. The black cube pulsed again, its light crawling across the walls. Jack tightened his grip on the girl's hand. Her glow had dimmed, her small body trembling. He knew staying here meant death. Jack took a deep breath, then shouted, "Run!" He yanked her toward the far side of the chamber. The cloaked figures reacted instantly, unleashing twin streams of light from their hands. Energy bolts streaked across the air, tearing into the walls. Jack dove behind a pile of rusted crates, dragging the girl with him. Sparks rained down as metal split apart. The Watcher drone hovered above, its red lens glowing brighter, tracking every move. "We can't stay," Jack hissed. The girl nodded weakly. "Door. Behind." She pointed, toward a narrow maintenance hatch near the floor. Jack didn't think twice. He kicked the hatch open and pushed her through first, then crawled after her. The space was tight, full of cables and dripping pipes. Behind them, the hunters' boots thundered as they gave chase. The crawl space shook with each blast of energy, striking the walls. Heat scorched Jack's back, forcing him to move faster. They burst out into a service corridor. Alarms blared overhead. The lockdown had triggered the station's systems. Red lights flashed, bathing everything in a warning glow. Jack grabbed the girl's hand again. "Come on!" They sprinted through the narrow hall, boots echoing against the steel. The hunters were not far behind. From the shadows, they released strange weapons, nets made of glowing strands. One shot past Jack's face, slicing into the wall and sizzling like burning wire. Another wrapped around a crate, crushing it instantly. Jack swerved, pulling the girl close. His mind flickered with quick visions, glimpses of the next moment. He ducked before a net could snag him, leapt over a beam before it collapsed. Each time, he knew what to do a second before it happened. It was her power, flowing into him again. The corridor opened into a wider section of the station, a neon-lit alley full of old stalls and flickering screens. Most were abandoned, but a few aliens froze as Jack and the girl raced past. The hunters emerged seconds later, and the crowd scattered in panic. Jack shoved past tables and knocked over barrels to slow them down. He felt the hunters' presence, like icy air at his back. The girl's voice was faint. "They never stop, they always follow." Jack glanced down at her. "Then we keep running until they can't." They darted into another passage, this one leading toward the engine decks. Steam hissed from vents clouding their path. The air smelled of oil and burning metal. From behind, the hunters released a new weapon, small black spheres that rolled along the floor. The moment they stopped, they expanded into glowing traps, crackling with energy. Jack's vision flickered again, showing him the floor a moment ahead. He yanked the girl sideways, just as one of the spheres erupted, collapsing, the ground where they had been standing. A pit opened into the darkness below. The hunters' hissing voices echoed. They were patient, confident, like predators driving prey into a corner. Jack's chest burned with exhaustion, but he kept moving. He couldn't let the girl fall into their hands, not after everything she had said. They reached a heavy door leading into a cargo lift. Jack slammed his hand against the controls. The door opened and they stumbled inside. He hit the panel again, forcing it shut just as the hunter's net struck the frame. The lift dropped fast, shaking violently. The girl leaned against him, eyes glowing faint but steady. Jack panted, trying to catch his breath. "We lost them, for now." The girl shook her head. "No, they never lose. They see me. Always." Her words chilled him, as if to prove her right. The lights inside the lift flickered. The red glow of the Watcher drone appeared in the corner, hovering silently. Jack's stomach turned cold. It had followed them in. The lift groaned as it reached the lower decks. The doors creaked open, revealing a cavernous engine hall filled with fire, smoke, and the thunder of machines. Jack looked at the drone, then at the girl. "We keep moving. No matter what." She nodded. Behind them, the hunters' voices echoed, down the shaft. They were coming again, and this time Jack knew. They would not stop until blood was spilled. The cargo lift rattled to a stop. The doors opened with a groan, releasing a wave of heat and smoke. Jack pulled the little alien girl out quickly. Behind them, the echo of the hunters' voices still lingered, growing fainter, but never gone. The engine hall stretched out before them like the heart of a dying giant. Towers of machinery rose into the darkness, pistons slammed with deafening rhythm, and rivers of molten energy ran through glowing pipes. The air shook with power. Jack led her behind a row of fuel tanks, his chest heaving. Sweat poured down his face. He tried to catch his breath, but the silence in her eyes stopped him. She was shaking, not from running, but from holding something inside. Jack knelt beside her. "Hey, you're safe, at least for now." Her glow flickered weakly. She looked at him with eyes that seemed older than her small body. "No one is safe. Not while I live." Jack frowned. "What do you mean?" The girl hugged her knees, her voice breaking. "My people, gone. All of them. Hunters burned. Our world because of me. Because of what I can do. Her words hit Jack like a weight. You're saying you're the last? She nodded slowly. Tears shimmered at the edge of her glowing eyes. They called me seer. I was born with the gift to feel time, to see what may happen and sometimes to change it. My people thought it was blessing, but others saw only weapon. Jack's throat tightened. Those hunters, they want to sell you. Her small hands clenched. Not sell. Use. The syndicate, powerful ones, want me to open futures for them, to give them paths to war, victory, control. If they have me, she shook her head, galaxies will fall. Millions will die before they even have a chance to fight. The engine hall roared around them, but Jack only heard her trembling voice. He placed a hand on her shoulder. Listen to me, you're not a weapon, you're a child. Her eyes flickered with sudden anger. No, I am danger. Everywhere I go, people die. You saw it. The way they follow me. The way the station ignores me. They twist reality to hide me. I shouldn't exist. Jack tightened his grip, meeting her gaze. Then why can I see you? Why can I hear you? She hesitated, then whispered, because I chose you. Jack blinked. Chose me? Her glow pulsed faintly. When I was taken, I reached out. My gift touched many minds, but only one answered. Yours. You felt me. You cared. No one else? Even looked. The words dug deep. Jack remembered the crowd in the port. Hundreds of eyes, but none had seen. Only him. He sat back against the fuel tank, staring at the ground. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a hero. He was just a mechanic, a human far from home. But now, he was the only shield between her and the hunters. The silence stretched, broken only by the pounding engines. Then a distant clang echoed through the hall. Boots on metal. The hunters were coming again. The girl's glow dimmed further. You should leave me. Run. If they take me, you can still live. Jack shook his head firmly. No. If I leave you, I'll never live. Not really. Her lips parted, but before she could answer, a new sound filled the hall. A roar. Low, guttural, inhuman. From the shadows between the machines, something massive stirred. Metal groaned under its weight. The air thickened with the smell of sulfur. The girl's eyes widened in horror. They've released the beast. Jack's blood ran cold. He rose to his feet, fists clenched, eyes searching the darkness. And as the roar shook the hall again, Jack realized the hunters were done chasing. They had unleashed something designed to finish the hunt. The roar shook the engine hall like thunder trapped in a cage. Steam hissed from broken vents, and metal pipes trembled. Jack stood frozen. The girl pressed against his side as a shadow moved between the machines. Then it stepped into the light. The beast was massive, its body plated with black scales that gleamed like metal. 6 legs slammed against the floor, claws carving into steel. Its mouth split into 3 jaws lined with jagged teeth dripping acid. Eyes like burning coals locked on Jack. The girl's voice shook. It hunts minds. It smells fear. Jack swallowed hard. His legs wanted to run, but there was nowhere left to go. Behind him, the fuel tanks. Ahead, the monster. And somewhere, above, the hunters watched, waiting for the beast to finish their work. He whispered to her, Can you show me what it'll do? Her glowing eyes flickered weakly. Only glimpses. Only pieces. That's enough, Jack said, jaw tight. Give me what you can. The beast roared again and charged. In Jack's mind, a flash, an image of the beast's claw slicing through the air. He moved before it happened, pulling the girl low. The claw smashed the fuel tanks, spraying fire across the hall. Heat roared, but they survived the first strike. Jack gritted his teeth. Okay. We can fight this. The beast lunged again. Jack's vision flickered, saw teeth snapping where his throat would be. He ducked, shoving a loose pipe into its jaws. Metal screeched against fangs, buying them seconds. The girl clutched his arm, voice trembling. You cannot win. The beast never loses. Jack spat blood, eyes burning with defiance. Yeah, maybe it's never fought a human. The pipe snapped, the beast shaking it free. Acid sprayed across the floor, burning holes through steel. Jack pulled the girl behind a column as the monster thrashed, shaking the hall. The hunters' voices echoed from above, their tones calm, confident. They thought the outcome was already written, but Jack felt something shift. Each vision the girl gave him came faster, clearer. A claw swipe, a tail strike, a spray of acid. He saw them all before they happened. His body moved with impossible precision, dodging death by inches. The girl's glow brightened slightly as she whispered, You use my gift better than I ever could. Jack gritted his teeth, staring at the beast. Then let's end this. He spotted a cluster of glowing pipes overhead, coolant lines feeding the reactor. In his mind, a flicker of the future. The pipes bursting, spraying liquid nitrogen. Enough to freeze even the beast's armor, but to get there he'd have to climb the machine tower with the monster snapping at his heels. Jack turned to the girl. Stay here, don't move. Her eyes widened. They'll kill you. He smiled, faintly a human smile, weary but unbroken. Not if I kill them first. The beast roared again. Jack broke from cover, sprinting toward the tower. The monster lunged, claws striking sparks as they scraped the floor. Jack's visions flickered, guiding his every step. Duck, roll, leap. His body moved faster than fear. He climbed the tower, hands burning against the hot metal. The beast slammed into the base, shaking it violently. Jack clung on, teeth gritted, forcing himself upward. At the top, he grabbed a heavy wrench from the machinery and smashed it against the coolant line. The pipe burst, spraying a torrent of freezing mist across the hall. The beast shrieked as frost spread across its black scales. Jack roared, swinging again. Another line split, flooding the chamber with white fog. The monster thrashed wildly, but its movement slowed, ice locking its legs. Jack climbed down, wrench still in hand. The girl stared in shock as he approached the frozen beast. Humans, Jack growled, raising the wrench. Don't run from monsters. He brought it down with all his strength. The beast shattered into shards of black and ice. Silence fell. The girl's eyes glowed bright with awe and fear. You changed the future. Jack dropped the wrench, chest heaving. No. We did. Above, the hunters hissed in anger. They had lost their beast. But when they stepped forward, Jack raised his arms, ready. The girl's glow wrapped around him like armor. Her voice was steady now. More will come. They will never stop. Jack nodded, staring into the shadows where enemies waited. His voice was low but firm. Then they'll learn what the galaxy hasn't yet. The girl blinked. What is that? That humans don't give up. Not ever. The chamber shook again, not from the beast, but from the sound of approaching ships. The battle was not over. It was only beginning. But for now, Jack had saved her. And for the first time, the hunters looked uncertain.